Save the World dropped another video. I guess let's react to it per usual. I think it's about Autumn and Summers, how Autumn was almost left in the dust. I think that's what the title says, but I think Autumn is doing fine. None of them are really hitting 10K first week sales, which is kind of like I think the threshold when you're starting your way to get more mainstream. You're actually doing big numbers, millions and millions of streams. I'm not saying Summers and Autumn aren't doing that, but you know what I'm saying. They haven't escaped the underground just yet. So I don't think they can really be, it can't be said that they're like forgotten. Although I do think that Autumn isn't talked about as much as Summers, where he's like one of the most relevant rappers in our scene, just because of his antics though. Like he's like hitting people in gas stations or whatever. Fans are running up on him. He's like, yo, get away from my fucking car, bro. But let's see.
So Autumn recently just said he's not.
Hold up. So the title is The Rapper You Forgot. And then as you can see right here, the thumbnail is Autumn.
Not beefing with Can or Summers or anybody really.
They be thinking, bro, they be swearing like, bro.
Shout out Lil Jane. Appreciate you.
Hey, y'all probably think me and Can hate each other, bro. Y'all hate each other. Y'all probably be thinking me and Reno be beefed out, bro. We don't be beefed out. Hey.
I feel like no one thought him and Summers were beefing because they took that picture together. They may not have been together all too often, but that was just because Summers was kind of rolling with Can for a bit, doing the double R anthems and whatnot. But I don't think Summers really had any issues with Autumn. Like that's who he came up with. Now, same thing with Can. He was the producer. But the only thing I thought Autumn really had a problem with was, and it wasn't really him. It was like Can was hating on him because Autumn was, or it was just one of the reasons at least. In addition to like the whole Uzi fake feature allegation, quote unquote. But Autumn was kind of dissing Yeet for stealing the flow and blowing up before him. And so since Autumn was dissing Yeet and Can was really cool with Yeet, he was not liking Autumn. But I don't think Summers was ever really involved. He was cool with all of them.
And that got me thinking, Autumn has really been on the right track lately. He's been going to the gym consistently, not beating.
You can't be a relevant rapper and actually be taking care of your health, y'all. Once you start doing that, you're a regular civilian. Nobody wants to listen to you. Everybody wants to see drug addicts and people who are not abiding by the law.
Women and not taking women into soundproof rooms. However, when anyone talks about underground or new gen rap, nobody ever really brings up Autumn. Summers keeps getting brought up in conversation.
I still think Autumn makes some of the best music in this space. Like I still tune in. I'm actually excited for his Midnight Club album just because of the title. Midnight Club is my all-time favorite game. I just downloaded the PlayStation PC SX2 emulator and then downloaded Midnight Club just because I was like, damn, I need to start playing that again. Although Autumn blocked me on both of my accounts, so I can't really see what he's doing, but people still send it to me. So
because he just keeps doing bullshit that ruins his life. Jace, despite the really bad snitching allegations, just got name dropped by Uzi. Can has been linked up with
I never really addressed that. I was like, I could not tell if he was actually saying Jace or something else that just people thought was Jace. But it's crazy that Uzi mentioned him, especially because Uzi stopped fucking with that one. What was that one song? The Philly song. It was a TikTok hit. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't figure out what it is. But Corvette, that one artist, he stopped messing with him because like they had a couple more songs or something. They did a remix, but they had more songs on the way. Maybe it's just because Uzi didn't want to continue. Maybe it had nothing to do with snitching. Maybe he just didn't want to give more than one feature. Like, I already gave you your cosign. Like, what else do you want from me? That's another 200K, sir. Thank you very much. But he stopped messing allegedly with the guy because of the snitching allegations. So because what Jace did, I would assume that he would steer clear from that. I want to see if Uzi starts, watch him get like the Gunna feature on his next project, just to be like, yo, Gunna is still cool with us. Stop playing with him.
Lucky and he's really popular with the streaming community and gets a lot of sales from merch despite having dropped literally no fucking music. Even Dom Corleo gets attention for being a Destroy Lonely clone because he set up an obstacle for him to overcome. Fans want to see if he'll outgrow that image and be able to say that they stuck with him from day one. That's why the label adds like these gimmicky ass songs like Chester Perry to generate controversy and keep his name.
I don't think it's a label, bruh. He keeps saying the label's doing shit. The label's just the bank. They just give the money, and then the artist kind of does whatever they want. Especially when they're popping. Like, you have more creative control than you think. It's more so like when an artist starts falling off, which Dom Corleo was still on his trajectory. Like, this was supposed to be his debut studio album, or at least in my opinion. It's when you start falling off where they're like, yo, we're not going to give you the budget to drop because you're losing us money. So why would we continue to invest in an asset that keeps losing money? It doesn't make sense because the label wants to make their money back and more. That's the whole point.
Name in the community. It just seems like out of all of the main Slay World members, Autumn is the most overlooked and disrespected. Even I was kind of guilty of this at one point. So recently I went through Autumn's discography again, and I know this is a hot take, but Autumn's Plug and B shit blows Summer's Plug and B shit out of the water. Not only that,
low key. I feel like at the very beginning, when I started getting into the Plug and B space, I was like, Autumn is the more talented artist because he can actually sing, or at least hold the melodies. Like he just has more of like a pop feel, things that girls could get down to. Pause. Whereas Summers, I do have to agree though, for like the glow, harder rapping shit, he blows Autumn out of the water in that, because Autumn kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog. I say this about a lot of rappers, but like his rap voice just isn't as good as Summers.
Autumn has progressed way more than Summers in every possible way. In versatility, in flow, in his voice and production, even in his personality and likability. If we're going just based on their craft, Autumn is better than Summers in every possible way. Yet every day I see a new post about some bullshit Summers did. So I guess really the reason that nobody...
That's why I said earlier, Summers is just... his antics are what make him poppin', because he does the funniest shit. Like, he just gets angry at McDonald's workers for giving him the wrong McFlurry. He wanted Oreos and M&Ms, bruh. Don't fucking play with him.
He really cares about Autumn. It's because he's not involved in bullshit or negativity. I also want to bring up Autumn's weird relationship with like sales and numbers. I remember back when Autumn was complaining on his story about like him selling only 800 tickets. Somebody in the...
Man, it was like 85. I thought, yeah, if your tour doesn't sell out, bro, just don't say anything. Be like, yo, I'm sick, I can't come. Don't be telling your fans, yo, we didn't sell out, because then it just turns into a whole narrative of you fell off. You're giving everybody ammo.
Comments tell me if that's like bad or not. But recently, before he even dropped the album, he was somehow still complaining about it flopping. Like, nigga, the album...
That was another one. Like, yo, you're like giving everybody ammo as to how you fell off because you said that you're not getting enough likes on your photos. You sound like a OnlyFans thought, being like, yo, they don't love me anymore. I need to show more titty in the pictures to get more likes.
Doesn't even exist yet. And he said if it flopped, he was gonna go back to college. Oh wow, nigga getting a fucking education, thank God. But correct me if I'm wrong, from the numbers I'm seeing, Autumn is not even doing that bad. Like, to me, these seem like very good numbers relative to the size of his fan base. I think him and Reno have the same problem, where they like compare themselves to these impossible metrics. Like, they think as soon as they drop a good album,
like, yo, if I don't hit #1 on Apple Music, I'm out. I'm quitting music.
Album that they're just supposed to be mainstream instantly. It's supposed to chart. They're supposed to get like 1 million plays on every song. And you know, no matter how long you've been doing music, it just doesn't work like that. People also tend to...
That's why I think so many artists should just stop looking at sales, because that's not an indicator of quality whatsoever. I mean, like, it shows how popular you are, but that doesn't mean you're actually making good music. Because if you got like a whole narrative behind your album, say like Gunna, I'm not dissing his album, but I thought it was relatively mid. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Gunna's a flow god, don't get me wrong, I still respect him as an artist. I just didn't think it was as great as the other albums that he's dropped. But because he still has hella hype behind him, because people wanted to hear what he had to say, about the whole snitching allegation, is still gonna do good numbers. But that doesn't mean that the album is good.
They gravitate to more edgier, darker, like,
or Eternal Take with Uzi sold 290 something K. And would y'all call that better than Love is Rage 2, which sold like 125 or 140 or something? No.
hardcore rage type of music. And it seems like after he dropped Antagonist and a bunch of people were shitting on the album and like calling it trash, he mostly stuck to his bread and butter, which I think is kind of a shame because Antagonist is not a bad fucking album. I honestly think
I didn't like Antagonist. There were a few songs, there were like 4 or 5 songs which were really, really good, but then the rest of it was like too much. But I get that it was an experimental album.
That album has some of the best rage influenced material in the entire underground. I just want to make this video to just personally give Autumn his flowers. Meat! I got nothing fed as boats.
Yeah. But the rapper you forgot. Okay, so he didn't say Autumn fell off. He was just saying that Autumn doesn't get as much attention as Summers and some of the other rappers that he came up with, which is very true, unfortunately. But I think that's because Autumn kind of sticks to himself and he actually records music, probably like perfecting his sound. He produces a lot of his tracks. He's more of like he's more artist than Pierre Bourne, I'd say, whereas Pierre Bourne's predominantly a producer. At least that's what he's known for. Whereas Autumn, he's an artist, but he mixes his own projects similar to like a Pierre Bourne figure, if you know what I'm saying. So he sticks more in the studio, doing the music shit, whereas a lot of the other rappers are doing antics. So of course he's not going to get on the blogs and get all the attention for doing dumbass shit, except for like the crashing the rental.